Hello and welcome to Positively United. And as you might be able to tell, I'm not in my usual location today. I'm on the road, and well, forgive me for the surroundings. This is just my accommodation whilst I'm on the road, and there's going to be no fancy graphics at all on this play ratings video, and it's obviously a couple of days after the game against Aston Villa because it's actually taken me quite some time to be able to watch the game. So, some thoughts about the game before I go into the player ratings. Some of you might remember that I actually predicted a 2-0 or a 2-1, and it was pretty close, wasn't it? It was a 3-1. Um, I thought we showed, I thought it was a great bounce back after the defeat against Newcastle. I know there were an awful lot of anybody but Carricks who were flying around like vultures, just waiting for another defeat or a draw that they could have a go at. I even saw some people online before the game, um, purportedly United fans, openly wishing for United to lose the game because they want Carrick to come under stress and pressure and they don't want him to be the long-term manager. I mean, these people are just crazy. They're nuts. You either support United or you don't. And I don't care who the manager is. When Amorim was a manager whose style, philosophy, approach to being manager of Manchester United, I absolutely couldn't stand. I wanted us to win every single game we played because it's Manchester United. And yeah, I do find this approach absolutely bizarre. And I do wonder where it's come from. Well, I don't even know why I say that really. I know where it's come from. It's come from the um, mentality of YouTube channels that um, get subscriptions and viewers and advertising and make money and make their owners millionaires through stoking up all sorts of antagonism and hate and poison against the club and whoever is the manager. And it doesn't really matter that Carrick's the manager. The next manager would just might get a grace period, particularly if it's a hipster manager, but would eventually end up being criticised and called out because that's how the money is made. But not us, not on this channel. We're positive. We want United to do well. And I thought that was a fantastic response from Carrick. And I might have a little bit more to say on that on my 5 Insights video, which I'll produce in the next day. But let's get to the play ratings. Lammens, a 7. He did well when he was called upon. A couple of good, great one-handed save. Um, he does what he needs to do, and I've actually started to change the way I score Lammens because, as you know, I start with a 6 with everybody and then put the score up depending upon whether they do good or bad in the game. So, but if they kind of like have an average game, they get a 6. It's a little bit unfair on Lammen sometimes because he doesn't actually have that much to do. So I'm actually these days going to start off with a 7 for Lamans. That's where he starts, and he'll go down or he'll go up depending upon what he does. So actually, I think it's a 7.5 for Lamans as far as I'm concerned. I think a really good game again, and it was very interesting to see in the game, the goalkeeper we could have had in Martinez in the Aston Villa goal, and he wasn't bad actually. Although I thought his positioning for the Cunha goal was a bit weird. He showed an awful lot of the goal on his left-hand side to Cunha. Cunha did very well to score. But yeah, look, Martinez would have been a good goalkeeper. But Lamens is just fantastic. What a bargain. And he is just so solid and so reliable. He reminds me so much of Edwin van der Sar. And he's not at van der Sar's levels yet, and it would be wrong to claim that he is or could be. But yeah, I mean, he's just great. Delo, well, you know what is the team selection did catch us by surprise, didn't it? It certainly caught me by surprise. If you look at my predicted 11, so to see Delo in the team again, he didn't do bad. He didn't do great. He actually had, for him, I think, a pretty solid game. So for me, it's a 6 for Delo. I mean, he didn't leave a chance at Ferdinand, um, presented for him. But I mean, you can't really criticize that performance. I don't think, unless you really want to dig him out every time he plays. That was just an average performance from Dolo. That's pretty good. So a 6. Yoro's making me eat my words. I think a few weeks ago I described him as 5th on my list of United centre backs. He's done really well after the first 2 games he played, where he looked really nervous. He's looking far less nervous now, and I thought the game he played against Villa was absolutely excellent. The interception in the first half in the penalty area was fantastic. The down to ground interception. So I think he gets a 7 for me. It's better than average. It's not spectacular, but he's definitely making progress and going in the right direction after a very, very, very dodgy reintroduction to the team. And good for him. Good for him, because we're not going to see Dillett, are we, this season? I think those rumours are true. And Martinez is just injury prone, and I think at some stage or other we're going to have a long chat about those 2 players, because I know it's a cliche, but the greatest ability is availability, and they're not available enough, nowhere near enough. And I think we're going to have to look at players for next season who are going to be available in what is hopefully going to be a season of 60-odd games, not 40-odd games. So, yeah, I think we're going to have to look at those 2. Maguire, straight 7. Maguire has just been so solid. I think he's been one of our players of the season. I really do. Any discussion or any doubt that this man's going to be given an extra season, and you've got to be crazy, haven't you? I mean, even if you didn't play him week in, week out, and you saw next season perhaps a centre-back partnership of, if they fit Martinez and Dillett, although I doubt they will be. Or you decided that, you know what, it's now time to go with Heaven and Yoro. You would be crazy not to have Maguire around. You would be absolutely crazy for one season to not have him around, because he is so reliable. And he's, when we're going to lose Casemiro, who's one of the leaders of the squad, I know he's not in that leadership group. I think that's probably something to do with language. I have to say, I think Maguire is absolutely indispensable, whether he plays or not. So yeah, Maguire gets that extension, and it's a 7. Again, not spectacular, but it was good, and it was what we needed. Shaw, again, it's the same, really. It's not spectacular, but it's better than average, because I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he did absolutely everything that was expected of him. So it's a 7 for Shaw. Mainu, I'm going to give him a 7. Now, I've seen some points online, some people saying that it's yet another disappointing game from Mainu. And I keep coming back to this about Mainu. You either see what Mainu does or you don't. You either get it or you don't get it. And I think there's a surprising number of United fans who don't get it, or maybe what I really mean to say is a surprising number of online United fans don't get it. They don't get that thing about Mainu, but he's constantly available. He's available to the defenders, he's available to the forwards and the advanced midfielders. If they need an outlet, if they need a ball, Mainu is always there, and he's never rushed, he's never fussed. He makes time for himself, he picks a good ball once he's received it. I just don't think people understand the value he brings to this team. Thank God the one man who matters is Michael Carrick, and he clearly does, because he picks him game after game after game, but quite rightly so, because Mainu is fundamental to the way we play at the moment. And if you don't see it, well, you don't see it. I can't force you to. But that was not a disappointing game for Mainu. Was it spectacular? Was it brilliant? No. It was better than average. And it was what we needed, a 7 for Mainu. Casemiro, wow. It's an 8, isn't it? Could be more, but I'm giving him an 8. Thought in the first half he was the best midfield player on the pitch. But let's think, let that go. Now, we all know he's brilliant, or he has lately become brilliant at headers. I don't know if he's always been brilliant at headers, but this season he seems to have made it into his speciality. That header for the opening goal was sublime. To be able to carry that off, that flick header backwards, essentially, not an accident, not a fluke, absolutely planned and on purpose. You could tell by the way he was moving his neck, moving his head. Okay, the delivery by Fernandez, will come to him, was perfect. But Casemiro's got such a lot to do, and he does it. The United crowd singing at the end to give him one more year. No, because I think this is the perfect send-off for Casemiro after a period of time where he had a really, really, really bad season last season. I think this is the perfect send-off for him. I really do. I think he would struggle next season, if I'm being honest. He certainly couldn't play every game. I do think we need to move on. I do think we need a different kind of midfielder to replace him as well. But he could not be going on a bigger high. He's a credit to himself. He really is. He is doing a brilliant job. An 8 for Casemiro. Ahmad, a 7.5. Again, I've seen online comments that it was a disappointing performance by him. I don't get that at all. I mean, he's the player, apart from Cunha and Fernandez, he's the player I made most notes about. The header from there should have been a header from the Cunha cross, but of course there was a foul on him. The header, but he did make with the great Martinez save. Second half, great run into the area from the wide right position, showing that he can do that, and he's actually really good at it. 7.5 for me, could have been an 8, but a 7.5 at the very least. Those people saying it was an average or a below average performance, again, I don't know what you're watching. A really good performance, and he did definitely prove he was worth his recall to the team. Cunha. I think in one of my Insights videos a couple of weeks ago, I said that Cunha is just so underappreciated, and he is. That was a super performance by him against Villa. It's an 8 for me. Great cross for the Ahmad header. Again, in the game, the number of times he comes back really deep into his own half, into his own penalty area to win the ball back. I mean, Garnacho's been making quite a few headlines recently, hasn't he, in the news with his performances and travails at Chelsea. You could almost weep if you compare Garnacho and Cunha, because that's the comparison, or it's one of the comparisons that we could make. Because the other one's Rashford, of course. Probably more. Actually, it's more likely. Well, we could compare him or Rashford down the left, because Garnacho appears to be playing on the left at the moment for Chelsea. Either of those two players would not do anything like what Cunha does in getting back, winning the ball, putting in the effort, putting in the work. I mean, he deserves a better of an average score just for workload, but it's not just workload. It's not just work rate. It's skill. There was a moment where Fernandez passed to Mbumo, and then Cunha did a glorious through ball. And of course, he created the chance for Šeško when Šeško came on through sheer persistence. Again, I don't remember Garnacho and Rashford doing that. But it's more than the workload. He wins the ball, but then he does something with it. Then he creates the opportunity for Šeško, who finishes it off. So really wonderful. 8 out of 10. Fernandez, 8.5. If this man doesn't walk away with every single Player of the Year award, it'll be an absolute travesty. And for those salty Arsenal fans who say that, you've got to have won something in order to get the Player of the Year award, 1999, David Ginola, PFA Player of the Year award. Newcastle finished, 11th, 10th, 9th, something like that. The team who'd won the treble, no. You could have picked Keane. You could have picked Beckham. You could have picked Giggs. You could have picked York. You could have picked Andy Cole, Japstam, Schmeichel. No, David Ginola. So if anybody's thinking that Fernandes can't win when his team's not going to win any trophies, shut up. Yeah, Fernandes should win. 8.5. Great cross for the low, didn't make anything of it. The pass to Cunha for Cunha's goal, superb. The cross, the corner that came in for Casemiro's goal, brilliant. He's always looking, isn't he, to create. He's always looking to make something happen. That assists record is up there for taking, isn't it? And the greatest number of assists in a single season. The man's a machine, but he's a machine who's also creative. By the way, we've got to do everything to keep him for next season, because I rarely ever believe this, but I think I probably do with Fernandes. I'm not a big fan of building a team around an individual. I think Fernandes is the exception. I think you can build a team around Fernandes, and probably ought to if he's around. Mbeumo, a 6. He's been off colour for a couple of games now. I don't know why. I mean, that was the shock selection in a sense, wasn't it? Was the dropping of Šeško and playing Mbeumo up front again. I'll tell you one thing you've got to say about Carrick is he's not afraid of making potentially unpopular decisions, and I don't think that was a popular decision. You know, people say that he's a yes man, and he'll do anything for to curry favour and stuff. Clearly not. Clearly he knows his mind. Otherwise he wouldn't have made that selection. It just didn't work for Mbeumo, and he was obviously disappointed to be substituted, and I don't blame him. His time will come again, there's no doubt about that, but yeah, it just looks a little bit tired. I think AFCON has probably affected him more than most players, is what I suspect. The substitutes, Ugarte, I didn't notice, so I'm going to give him a 6. That's no slight on Ugarte, he wasn't on for long enough. Šeško, it's got to be a 7. You can't give him a 6 because he scores yet again. I mean, you could even say it was a 7.5 because he scores. Yeah, you know what? Let's make it 7.5 because he scores. You can't ask more of a forward, really, can you? And scoring goals consistently, and that's exactly what he's doing this season. If I was him, I'd be a little bit concerned that Carrick and the coaching staff clearly don't trust him to be the constant first choice centre forward. We've got to have that as an insight, don't we? You know, it's clear. If they did, they would have picked him, I think, for this game, but they didn't. So there is a question mark over him. And there is, I think, a danger that you'll turn into the Ole Solskjaer of his era, which is a super sub. Which would be great for us, but I don't know if it'd be great for him, because I don't know if that's what he wants. But we've got to wait and see on that. But we've got to wait and see on a lot of things about the forward line, because it is in flux. But it's working at the moment, and that's the important thing. So those are my player ratings. First of all, sorry about the video quality, which will not be great. The sound might be a little low. I can't do anything about that because of the circumstances in where I'm recording this. There are no graphics today. Oh, by the way, if it wasn't obvious, man of a match, Fernandes. Who else could it be? And that's becoming a regular occurrence, which is exactly why he should be Player of the Year. But yeah, apologies for technical quality today. Apologies for timing. I will be getting up my 5 Insights video today. It might be a lot later today, but it will be today. I really have no idea what I'm going to do about the Brentford game. I will get out a predicted starting 11 for the game, but it will be, I think, a delayed response for the game again, because again, I'm going to have to try and find a place to watch it and that sort of thing. So, but we are in a fantastic position. The results this weekend could not have been better for us. Chelsea getting beaten, Liverpool drawing against Tottenham, You know, the City result, even, not that we're going to catch City, I don't think that's on, and doing what we need to do against Villa. Yeah, I mean, third place is, if we don't get third place now, it's our own fault, I think, in many ways. And what a place to be. You know, we're not looking at other teams now to drop points. We are the ones now who could drop points. And that's in our own hands. It's a great place to be. I noticed for talk, I tell you what, I do. Yeah, I tell you what, we'll talk about the manager stuff in the 5 Insights game, about who's going to be the permanent head coach. But yeah, I mean, for those who were thinking that the ideal position was to give the job to a man whose team is now sinking down the table and who I think might struggle to cling on to the top 6, when the alternative is Michael Carrick, who's going in completely the opposite direction. Yeah, give your head a wobble, right? But we'll deal more with that with the 5 Insights video. So that's it for now for this player ratings after the game against Aston Villa. If you like the video, well, I tell you what, don't judge me on this video because the technical quality will be dreadful. Watch my more polished videos when they come out in a few days' time, into next week or whenever. But if you like the attitude of this video, if you like the fact we're trying to be positive about United, not constantly have a dig at the club and not constantly agitate for the next hipster choice for head coach, rather than the ideal man who's staring us right in the face at the moment, who's doing a great job for us, Michael Carrick. Yeah, subscribe, like the video. If you've got friends who think would like this kind of output, let them know, ask them to subscribe. Follow me on X, the link is in the description. But yeah, until then, that's it. Until we see each other, which will be later today because I will get that Insights video out. Always remain positively united.